Hi, I'm Julian. I work as a financial analyst at Henderson and Associates, which sounds more impressive than it actually is. Most days I'm buried in spreadsheets, analyzing investment portfolios for clients who have more money than they know what to do with. My father would have laughed at that. He always said wealth was about what you built, not what you inherited. He died when I was 19, and I've spent the last 12 years trying to understand what happened to him. That Tuesday started like any other. I was at the annual charity gala my firm sponsors, nursing a glass of champagne I didn't want, when I saw Richard Westbrook across the room. Everyone knew Westbrook, billionaire real estate developer, philanthropist, the kind of guy whose face appears on magazine covers with headlines like, "The Man Who Built Manhattan." My colleague Tom appeared beside me. "That's Westbrook. Ever meet him?" "No," I said. "Should I?" "Probably not. Guy's got a reputation. Ruthless in business." Tom laughed. "But hey, his donation tonight will probably fund our bonuses, so I'm not complaining." I watched Westbrook work the room, shaking hands, flashing that practice smile. Something about him made my skin crawl, though I couldn't explain why. Then he raised his hand to adjust his tie, and I saw it, a gold ring with a distinctive engraving. My heart stopped. "Tom, I need you to introduce me to Westbrook." "What? Why? Just do it, please." Tom shrugged. "All right, come on." As we approached, Westbrook turned to us with that politician's smile. "Tom Henderson, good to see you." "Mr. Westbrook, this is Julian Carter, one of our top analysts." I barely heard the rest. My eyes were locked on the ring, the engraving, two interlocking circles with the initials JC inside. I'd seen that ring every day of my childhood. "Mr. Carter?" Westbrook extended his hand. I took it, my voice barely steady. "Sir, that ring belongs to my father." The color drained from Westbrook's face. His hand went limp in mine. He whispered, "Who was he?" "James Carter. He died 12 years ago." Westbrook stepped back, his composure cracking. I need some air. Excuse me." He walked away quickly, and I followed, ignoring Tom's confused calls. Outside on the terrace, Westbrook leaned against the railing, and I could see his hands shaking. "How did you get that ring?" I demanded. "Your father gave it to me," he said, not meeting my eyes. "My father would never give away that ring. It was his father's, and his father's before that. He promised it to me." "Look, I don't know what you think happened, but I think you're lying," I interrupted. "I've spent 12 years wondering why my father drove his car off a bridge, why he left behind a bankrupt company and a family with nothing, and now I find you wearing his ring." Westbrook finally looked at me. "Your father and I were business partners. The ring was collateral on a loan." "What loan?" "A private matter. I'm sorry about your father, Julian, but this was settled years ago." "Settled? My father's dead." "I understand you're upset, but making accusations at a charity gala isn't appropriate. If you have questions, contact my lawyers." He turned to leave. "I will," I called after him. "And I'm going to find out exactly what happened." He paused, but didn't turn around. "Leave the past alone, Mr. Carter. It won't bring him back." I watched him disappear inside, my mind racing. I pulled out my phone and called my sister Sarah. "Jules? What's wrong? You sound terrible." "Sarah, I need you to send me everything. All of Dad's papers, anything from the company, his personal files, everything." "Why? What happened?" "I found someone who knew Dad, someone who's lying about him. I need to know what really happened." "Julian, you can't keep doing this. It's been 12 years. Maybe Dad just—" "Sarah, he didn't just have an accident. I know it, and I'm going to prove it." She sighed. "I'll send what I have, but Jules, be careful. Whatever you find might be worse than not knowing." "I don't care. I have to know the truth." 3 days later, I sat in Marcus Chen's office, surrounded by bankers' boxes filled with my father's documents. Marcus had been my father's lawyer and friend. He'd helped my mother settle the estate and had stayed in touch over the years. "Julian, I'm not sure what you're looking for," Marcus said, reviewing a contract. "Your father's company went under because of bad investments. It was tragic, but these things happen." "Marcus, look at this." I pushed a document across his desk. "This is a partnership agreement between my father and Richard Westbrook, dated 6 months before Dad died. Why didn't anyone tell me about this?" Marcus studied the document, his expression darkening. "I never saw this. Your mother never mentioned any partnership with Westbrook. Because she didn't know. Look at the terms. Dad put up his company as collateral for a real estate development project. Westbrook contributed capital. And if the project failed, Westbrook would own everything, Dad's company, assets, even personal property. I pointed to a clause, including all items of significant sentimental value currently held as security. The ring, Marcus breathed. Julian, if this is legitimate, Westbrook legally owns that ring. That's not the issue. The issue is why the project failed. Dad was an excellent businessman. He wouldn't have invested in something that risky unless... My phone rang. Sarah. Jules, I found something. You need to come home right now. What is it? I can't explain over the phone. Just come. An hour later, Sarah met me at our mother's house with a small box. I was going through the attic. This was hidden in Dad's old desk, a false bottom I'd never noticed. Inside were letters. Letters between my father and someone named David Morrison, dated from the months before his death. I read aloud, James, I'm begging you to reconsider. Westbrook is using you. The environmental reports are falsified. When the EPA finds out, the whole project will collapse. You'll lose everything. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. Keep reading. The next letter. James, I've sent you the proof. Westbrook knew about the contamination. He's using your company as a shield. When this blows up, you'll take the fall, not him. Who is David Morrison? Sarah asked. We need to find out. I called Marcus, put him on speaker. Marcus, does the name David Morrison mean anything to you? Morrison. Yes. He was an environmental consultant. He died about 10 years ago. Car accident, I think. Sarah and I looked at each other. Marcus, I need you to find everything you can about David Morrison. And I need to know if there's any record of an EPA investigation into Westbrook's developments from that time. Julian, what are you suggesting? I'm suggesting Westbrook destroyed my father to cover up his own crimes. The next morning, I met with Detective Lisa Rodriguez. I'd done my research. She'd built her career investigating white-collar crime. Mr. Carter, I've read your email. This is a serious accusation, she said. I have documents, letters, evidence that Richard Westbrook knew about environmental contamination and used my father's company as a front. When it came out, my father lost everything. He died 3 weeks after the EPA investigation started. And you believe Westbrook was responsible for your father's death? I believe my father didn't drive off that bridge accidentally. I believe he was murdered. Detective Rodriguez leaned back. That's different from fraud. Do you have evidence of murder? Not yet. But I have evidence of fraud, conspiracy, and possible criminal negligence that led to a death. Isn't that enough to investigate? She studied the documents. I'll need to verify these, and I'll need to speak with Marcus Chen. If what you're saying is true, Mr. Carter, this could be the biggest case of my career. I don't care about your career, Detective. I care about justice for my father. So do I, Mr. Carter. So do I. 2 months later, I stood outside Westbrook's corporate office. Detective Rodriguez had found everything: falsified reports, forged signatures, proof that Westbrook had systematically destroyed my father while enriching himself. The EPA was reopening their investigation. The district attorney was building a case. Today was about something more personal. I walked past his secretary, ignoring her protests, and opened his office door. Westbrook looked up from his desk, his face hardening when he saw me. "Security," he barked. "Call them," I said. "I want witnesses. Get out of my office." "You murdered my father." His hand froze over the phone. "That's absurd. You knew about the contamination. You falsified environmental reports. You used my father's company as a shield. And when the EPA started investigating, you made sure he took the fall for everything. Your father made poor business decisions. I tried to help him." Help him? You bankrupted him. You took everything: his company, his reputation, his will to live. 2 security guards appeared in the doorway. Westbrook waved them in, but I held up my phone, showing the recording app. "You might want to hear what I have to say before you have me removed." He hesitated, then dismissed the guards. 5 minutes. I placed the ring, I'd had Marcus subpoena it, on his desk. "This ring was collateral for a business deal you knew would fail. You engineered that failure. I don't have to listen to this. David Morrison sent my father proof that you knew about the contamination. My father threatened to go public. 3 days later, Morrison died in a car accident. 2 weeks after that, my father drove off a bridge. Coincidence. Tragic, but coincidence. Really? Because Detective Rodriguez has been very interested in David Morrison's accident. The brake lines on his car were cut. And you know what else she found? Financial records showing you paid a private investigator to follow my father in the weeks before his death. Westbrook's composure cracked. "You can't prove anything." "I can prove fraud, conspiracy, criminal negligence that led to environmental damage affecting hundreds of families. The EPA is reopening the case. The DA is filing charges. Your empire is about to collapse, just like my father's did. Julian, please. His voice changed, became almost pleading. I never wanted your father to die. I was protecting my business. I made mistakes. Let me make it right. I'll pay your family whatever you want. I don't want your money. Then what? I want you to confess. I want you to tell the truth about what you did to my father. I can't do that. Then enjoy prison. He stood up, his face twisting with rage. You self-righteous punk. You think you're better than me? Your father was weak. He couldn't handle the pressure of real business. He killed himself because he was a coward. The office door opened. Detective Rodriguez entered with two uniformed officers. Mr. Westbrook, I'm placing you under arrest for fraud, conspiracy, and criminal negligence. Additionally, we're investigating your potential involvement in the deaths of James Carter and David Morrison. This is insane. I want my lawyer. That's your right. She nodded to the officers who handcuffed him. As they led him past me, Westbrook hissed, I'll destroy you for this. I'll bury you. You already did that to my father, I said. But I'm not him, and I'm not stopping until everyone knows what you are. You'll regret this. No, Mr. Westbrook, you'll regret what you did for the rest of your life. The trial took 8 months. Marcus walked me through every step, the depositions, the evidence hearings, the media circus. Westbrook's lawyers tried everything, but Detective Rodriguez's investigation was thorough. The falsified environmental reports, the financial manipulation, the pattern of threats against anyone who discovered the truth. I sat in the courtroom the day the verdict came in. Sarah held my hand. Marcus sat behind us, steady as always. On the charge of conspiracy to commit fraud, we find the defendant guilty. On the charge of criminal negligence resulting in environmental damage, guilty. On the charge of obstruction of justice, guilty. The judge sentenced Westbrook to 15 years in federal prison and ordered him to pay $50 million in restitution to the families affected by the environmental contamination. His company was dissolved, his assets seized. Outside the courthouse, reporters surrounded us, but I only made a brief statement. Justice has been served for my father and everyone else Richard Westbrook hurt. That's all I have to say. A month later, I received a letter from Westbrook. Sarah found me reading it in my apartment. What does it say? He wants to meet. Says he wants to apologize properly. Make peace. Are you going to see him? No. Jules, maybe closure. I have closure. He's in prison. That's all the closure I need. What if he really is sorry? I looked at my sister. Sarah, he called Dad a coward. He tried to destroy me just like he destroyed Dad. He's not sorry. He's just scared because he finally has to face consequences. So you won't ever forgive him? Forgiveness is for people who deserve it. Westbrook doesn't. I tore up the letter. A few weeks later, Marcus and I met at a cafe. He slid an envelope across the table. What's this? Restitution payment. Your family's portion of the settlement. I opened it, stared at the check. This is too much. It's what you're owed. And Julian, there's something else. I've been contacted by several families affected by Westbrook's other developments. They want to file civil suits. They want you to testify. How many families? Dozens, maybe hundreds. Westbrook's fraud went back decades. I thought about my father, about David Morrison, about all the people Westbrook had hurt. Tell them yes, I'll testify in every case. Marcus smiled. I thought you'd say that. Your father would be proud. You think? I know. James Carter was a good man who believed in doing the right thing, even when it cost him everything. You're just like him, Julian, except you're strong enough to finish what he started. I picked up the ring, which I now wore on a chain around my neck. I used to think strength meant never breaking. Dad taught me different. Strength is getting back up after you've been broken. And you got up. Yeah, I did. As I left the cafe, my phone rang. Sarah. Jules, Mom wants to see you. She finally wants to talk about Dad. I'll be there tonight. For the first time in 12 years, I felt like I could breathe. My father's name was cleared, his legacy restored, and the man who destroyed him was paying for his crimes. The past couldn't be changed, but the future, that was mine to build. What would you do if you discover someone powerful had destroyed your family? Would you pursue justice no matter the cost, or let the past stay buried? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more true revenge stories.